All right, everyone. Happy to share a Activepieces tutorial. For those that are unaware, I've been raving about this platform for some time. Open source tech projects in general are a passion of mine. It's closely aligned to the whole Web3, decentralization, privacy stuff that I'm constantly harping about. If you feel the same, let's have a conversation about it sometime. But let's put all that aside. I'm going to show you guys some cool tips and tricks and things to do in Activepieces. For those that don't know, Activepieces is basically like a make or a Zapier, and it allows you to really build your own apps, string together APIs, do some really cool stuff that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do just with one singular app. So today I was going to dive into how to build a Twitter automation. And I'm not particularly a huge fan of Twitter, but I recognize its importance, at least for somebody like me who's interested in maybe cryptocurrency or blockchain and kind of establishing an authority in the space. You know, I know quite a bit about it, but at the same time, I don't want to devote my day to spending time on that platform. It's just not really for me. I'm a father. I've got other stuff to do. So how do we make this more palatable? Pretty simple. Look at this simple flow here. We got five easy steps. We're going to catch a webhook from Apify, and we're going to have a little GET request. We're going to pull the results for that. I always like to throw a delay. 10 minutes might be too long, but it doesn't really matter. A little GPT action, and we're going to send the tweet to my Twitter. All right, so let's hop on Apify real quick. As you can see, I have several scrapers set up, doing all kinds of fun stuff. You can use this for jobs, for gigs, for leads. It's really just a playground of resources that you can use to essentially string together data. I guess the best way to describe Apify is it's a scraper marketplace, but instead of saying scrapers, which kind of sounds like a dirty word, they call them actors. As you can see here, Reddit Scraper Lite is the main one that I use, and this one I have it scraping Cardano, so that way I can make Cardano posts. I send a sentiment analysis to a buddy of mine, just so that way he can stay up on what's being chatted, what people are talking about in that particular subreddit. Now, if you go over to tasks, I've built up 2 tasks, and this one's for my crypto Twitter. And for crypto Twitter, I am looking at 2 subreddits, cryptocurrency and Web3. The rest of the parameters are pretty set. Search for posts, perfect. Don't need any not safe for work content. Limits, I keep it to 10. And the proxy residential is ideal. And then your run options. So by and large, you're just going to kind of keep this as is. Just pick what Reddits you want to target. And I guess I should mention as well that you have $5 of free monthly usage, which is actually pretty substantial. I do recommend getting some paid plans if you're bringing on clients and you're doing this stuff for other folks. It can rack up fairly quickly, but otherwise, if you're doing projects for yourself, it's really no problem. So after we set up once we've selected our actor and we've created our saved task, we're going to go over and look at the integrations. So to set up an integration is essentially building this webhook here at the top, catch webhook. Now we're going to have to tell Apify how to connect to the webhook. So by doing that, you could type add integration and then you would click HTTP webhook. Pretty straightforward there. And then in that, you would copy and paste your live URL. Pretty easy. Issues, we're going to ignore that issue. That's an old issue. And from there, you would run your Apify actor, and you would test that. You would hit test here, and you would catch the webhook. I've already done that, so we're just going to kind of skip ahead there, but it's pretty simple. After that, we're going to go and find our GET request. I always try to do GET requests for the dataset within Apify. And to find that dataset or that GET request, you're going to go ahead and click Apify or API, and then endpoints. We'll scroll down to find your endpoints. And I usually go down to the very bottom here and get last run for dataset items. So once it's caught, once your webhook is triggered, you're going to get that GET request. I have it delayed for 10 minutes, and then we're going to feed into our ChatGPT. For ChatGPT, I have an API key that I set up for basically integrating this particular piece. In Activepieces, they call these connections pieces. And I have it instructing to do specific things that I would want to see within my Twitter. The model I've selected is GPT-4o. It's a little bit more cost effective. I think it's fairly accurate as well. And I always do my breaks with plus signs, but you can do equal, whatever you want to do. The question, is use the following data to share a 100 to 400 character count Twitter post from the perspective of Edward Chalupa. Edward Chalupa is a digital marketer who is passionate about Web3, blockchain, DeFi, education, and nonprofits. Edward writes at a friendly and engaging 10th grade reading level. Create an opinion based on the provided sentiment and share a deep analysis of a specific topic. Give a basis of your reasoning in the post. Do not mention Reddit or its users in your response. Use no more than 3 hashtags and make sure that each hashtag is relevant to the content of the post. Only include copy that is used within the body of the available data. Ignore any content that is shared by bots. Pretty straightforward. The default temperature is usually 0.9. I drop it down to 0.7 for a little bit more accuracy, and then I always up the tokens to 4096. I think it's worth noting here, when you click inside this box, this question prompt, it'll allow you to select the reference data. And the reference data is going to be within your GET HTTP request, as you can see here. And I've picked the body. And the body is all the Reddit posts and all the data that's inside of it. And yeah, that's it for the ChatGPT integration. And then we're going to send it over to my Twitter. So I've connected. I'm not going to show you specifically how to set up the developer account for Twitter. I think it's pretty straightforward. You can only have one connection per developer account, at least on a free level or on I'd say prosumer level. But that's all I need. I just need one connection that can basically do what I'm doing here. And the text is going to be your ChatGPT output. I guess I should have previewed the output. Here's an example of what it would send after having referenced the scraper. Uniswap's exit might trigger a revenue crisis for Ethereum. Could this redefine DeFi dynamics? Watch the space. Relevant hashtags. And that's something that I would write. Anybody would. I mean, that's a just general sentiment of what's going on right now if you're following the news in regards to Uniswap and Ethereum. So, that saved me about 10 minutes. And 10 minutes compounding that over, daily. And that's, over an hour a week. And my time is valuable. All right. The rest I kind of leave blank. I'd like to include images, but that's something I can work in later. I'm a little bit more picky about what kind of images we would share and send there. Let me pull up X real quick. And we'll go to my profile. All right. So you can see it's made a daily post already. Finding a solid strategy and sticking to it is key to winning in crypto. Consistency beats impulsive decisions every time. That's something that could be said about everything. I would like it to be a little bit more specific, but I feel like that was just the general sentiment as of last night, reporting today. So yeah, let me go back to this, and let's go ahead and make sure we're published. Cool. And we're going to test the flow. All right, it's all moving along swimmingly. This is going to take about 10 minutes to go through. We could just skip ahead. in the meantime, let's go take a look at our Apify. So our Apify will show the runs. Okay. And that was the run that we had done this morning at 6:30. Here's the log. And another thing that's important here is I don't want to have to do this manually every day, so it's on a schedule. So we'll go over to our schedule. And I picked kind of like a weird indiscriminate time, like 6:34 a.m. every day. That's kind of when a lot of the world's waking up and a lot of the world's kind of going to sleep. It seemed like a nice happy spot. And then 6:34, in my mind, it helps disguise the idea that this is maybe a bot-driven task. So we'll click into the schedule. And when you're building your schedule, you'll want to make sure that you can pick your parameters that you want: hourly, daily, weekly, monthly. Again, I'm not trying to inundate my audience with just crypto news over and over again, so I think daily is sufficient. And then you want to tie it to a actor or a task. The reason why I have it tied to a task is because I have several, or at least 2 tasks that are tied to that actor, in which case I want to split or segment them. If it was tied just to the actor, every time that actor fires, it would be sending or routing to the 2 different audiences that I have. So I want to make sure that's split up. That's why you want to set up a task for this if you're planning several of these integrations. We had a scraper run, we had GPT flowing, and the create tweet. It looks like everything went smoothly. Let's see here. Let's go to old refresh. Boom. Investing in crypto is like a roller coaster full of ups and downs. Stick to a strategy and avoid hype. All right. It looks like it was referencing the same data set as earlier based on the general sentiment, but you get the idea. Oh, it looks like it did another one too. Learning from market cycles is key. Consistency and strategy like DCA beats emotional investing. Stick to your plan and thrive. Okay. Let's delete that most recent one. We don't need it. But anyways, that's the flow. That's how you post to Twitter. Done easy. So if anybody's interested in my more advanced flow for publishing videos, stick around. I think that will be my next feature. Should be pretty interesting. Triggers off a new video, hits the transcription, and then publishes to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.